morning, put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanna share my love, but it's gotta be with someone who's precious. You're never gonna get my love, accepting that you're real precious. You're never gonna cramp my style, baby, cause I get a lot of pleasure. And if you wanna test my style, you better have a whole lot of measure. Cause I'm a rock back chick, never tag along the never look back chick. Trendy, a little crazy, intelligently singing rock back chick. No sticks, no stones, or any kind of weapon don't belong here. I don't wanna break no bones, I just want a microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, 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 good morning. Want a microphone, morning. I just want a microphone, morning. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This world is getting so cold, I wanna keep running like a soldier. Somebody must have touched my soul, cause there ain't no stopping till it's over. I wanna get up out my chair, cause everybody's getting so lazy. Don't want nobody touch my hair, cause a lot of sisters acting too crazy. And them not tough like this, rough like this, and them not nice like this. Some can't take it when you talk true sense, rather hear the words that glorify nonsense. Yes, and I got my brains, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't wanna pick your brains, I just want the microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanna share my love, but it's gotta be with someone who's precious. You're never gonna get my love, accepting that you're real precious. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am your host this morning, Rhea Richardson George. We're waiting to see, we're going to see Julian in just a little bit, but he is around, just to let you know. Remember, viewers, that this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning
Hi,
to you,
hi.
Julian.
Good morning, Ria. Good morning, viewers. Yes, it's always great to be here on the Tobago Updates, a morning show this morning. All of you joining us, those of you in Tobago, those of you joining us in the region and the world at large, we want to thank you and to continue to thank you each and every day for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show to start your morning bright and early at 7 a.m. Ria, it's a beautiful morning indeed.
It is, and as usual, Tobago Updates is always stretching and moving the boundaries, stretching the limits, moving the boundaries. So we decided this morning, Julian, to try something new. Yes?
Yes, yes, yes. Connecting virtual. Some would say we're trying to safeguard. So
That's right.
just in case, we have to create that space. We're testing the boundaries as usual. So good to connect with you, Ria. Most definitely this morning. How was yesterday, Ria?
Pretty good. A very quiet, very, very quiet day, but certainly looking forward to the weekend. I always love Fridays. As you know, whether we're inside or outside, these days we're more inside than outside, but, pretty good.
I think it's certainly yesterday became greater because today's Friday, Ria. It's Friday, the 6th of May. And I should also mention, Ria, it's the 6th of May, and we are in the best month of the year. Ria, May is the
I
month
wonder
to
why, but
be, Ria.
I wonder why, but
I, I celebrate a little later in this month, Ria, so I'm extremely excited. I'm always excited about May, in fact.
yes.
And even more so as the days get closer to the 22nd of May. So I celebrate all May borns indeed.
Well, you may have some surprises coming up later on in this May month, so just keep your eyes out. All right. But just to let our viewers know, it is over to the news in 90 seconds with Denicia Dempster.
2020. 54 passengers disembarked at the ANR Robinson International Airport, but the
It's been a
flight
rough
has
one,
the
boy.
capacity for 320 passengers. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tashia Boris, was pleased to welcome the flight, noting that Tobago was one of the last islands in the Caribbean to allow the return of international flights. She is, however, looking forward to seeing how this flight will revive tourism. In other news, there is not yet a committee in place for the hosting of Tobago's Carnival, which is scheduled for the last weekend in October. Speaking to Tobago Updates, Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tashia Boris, said the committee will be announced in 1 week's time. She says because the Tobago Carnival is new, it is taking the technocrats some time to flesh out a concept that will work. It is why details and calendar of events have not yet been released to the public. Meanwhile, Drugs to Sue founder Karen Clark received the green light from court to sue the police for failure to grant him a firearm user's license. Justice Nadia Kangaloo granted Clark leave to pursue his judicial review claim against the commissioner after an attorney for the state admitted it could not resist the leave application. Clark sued the commissioner after the Firearms Appeal Board in October 2021, and the court ordered the commissioner to grant him a full. He had applied for it in 2014, but in 2020 his application was refused. Clark appealed to the FAB, which ruled in his favor. That was the news in 90 seconds. Back to you, Ria.
Thank you so much there, Denicia. Always good to hear what's coming up. What's happening in the Tobago space, the Trinidad and Tobago space. So, Julian Skeet, back over to you. How
Yes,
have you been?
Ria, for me, very interesting yesterday. I like the fact in terms of, and Denise just spoke about it, that we are back with that direct connecting flight
From
to
JFK,
New
yes.
York. And, in terms of really an opportunity and showing that we are moving out of this pandemic and seeking a greater level of responsibility to be taken on the part of persons. So it's always interesting to see us moving in that direction. And we're looking forward to what will be new connections happening here in the Tobago space. We are so accustomed to, with most of the other options, we go to Trinidad and
And
then head
then,
across to Tobago. So we certainly appreciate the confidence being shown in terms of allowing for coming through Tobago, wait here for a bit like we normally do, and then the flight heads over to Trinidad, accordingly making that connection with Tobago. And it's certainly a good signal because it also lines up where we would have had the earlier one with Virgin, similarly, in terms of coming to Tobago. So we're looking forward to that kind of move and that boost and that return to what is for us on this end of the island. Very critical at that in terms of our very strong tourism product.
definitely. So some semblance of normalcy.
Oh,
Yes?
most definitely.
All right.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so Julian, it's just about that time for us to head over to some birthdays. I know you've got some, I've got some,
Yes.
we've got some.
Ah. Yes, it's a beautiful birthday morning lineup. Let's see who they shoot out for us first.
Okay, so there we go. We have got a birthday greeting going out from Mrs. Stumpy. She says, today is her mother's birthday. It's her 78th birthday, looking really good for 78, I might add. And greetings coming to mommy. This is Jacqueline James, celebrating her birthday today from her family circle here in Tobago. Suzette and Colin and their families, and Paula and her family in Antigua. So love going out to you this morning. Happy, happy, happy birthday. And this is a lovely lady hailing all the way from Roxborough, Tobago. This is Christelle Paris, a student of Speyside High School. Yes, celebrating her birthday today. So Christelle, love going out to you from your mommy, daddy, the entire family. Yes, your granny Christina and Sir George and the entire Speyside family.
All right, and we see here on screen with us Joseph Frederick, and we want to send a birthday shout out going out to Joseph Frederick from the entire Tobago Updates family here, wishing you a happy, happy birthday, Joseph Frederick. And we have birthday shout outs this morning. You must certainly know this face if you live in Tobago. All right.
Definitely.
And that's our former Deputy Chief Secretary and also former Secretary with responsibility for finance in the Tobago House of Assembly, Joel Jack. All right. And we want to give you a birthday shout out. And he has been with us here on the Tobago Updates a number of times. So we want to give a birthday shout out going out to Joel Jack. And we head on over to my very good friend out there in Dominica, Ezra Peters. Ezra Peters, we're giving you a birthday shout out this morning. We trust that you have an enjoyable birthday. Another gentleman here in the media area. Do you know this face, Ria?
We definitely do. Definitely do. This is Whitfield Turner out there in the media fraternity. Birthday greetings going out to you, Whitfield, from the entire Media Hub, Media Association, all of your friends and family. Love to you.
And I want to add into Whitfield as well, birthday greetings also connecting from Charlene Frederick Turner, his wife. All right, certainly wishing him a very happy, happy birthday, Whitfield Turner. All right, and on screen we have with us Del Paul Alexander celebrating a birthday, and we want to wish you God's continued blessings. We trust that you have an enjoyable birthday celebration. Del Paul Alexander.
And let me add here, Del Paul is also my schoolmate. We went to Scarborough Sec and Signal Hill Senior Comp together. So love going out to you as well, Del.
And I met Del Paul a few years ago. Really pleasant person to interact with. Very humble, easygoing, really nice person. Del Paul Alexander. All right, and on screen, some call him the trouble man. But we are shouting out this morning, my very good friend out of Scarborough Secondary, Tigana Davis. Birthday shout outs to Tigana Davis. And Tigana made it difficult for me to find a photo, but I find something, Tigana. All right, to wish you a happy, happy birthday, Tigana Davis. All right.
All right, Julian.
Yes, certainly. Beautiful lineup there, Ria, in terms of celebrations, birthday celebrations. And it's May. It's May, so these are all my May brothers and sisters as we celebrate in this month of May.
And I suspect we're going to have quite a few more almost every day.
Definitely, Rhea, definitely. And I try my best not to miss in terms of these May celebrations.
I know.
And
So,
I'm seeing
Julian.
we got quite a few as well in terms of joining us online. Tanessa Lawrence, Afia McCain, Nicola Williams, Anton Parks is joining us online, Rhea.
Good morning to
Laverne
Anton
Simon
Parks.
is joining
Singing
us.
action.
All right, Listra Belfont, Kuki Melville, Stacy, Sandy Doyle, shout out. Morning, Stacy. And all those joining us, Liesel, James, each and every one of you that continue to support the Tobago Updates morning show.
All right. Well, Julian, it's just about that time for us to pause for a cause, but we've got quite an interesting lineup. Maybe we can start by telling our viewers really quickly here, because I see the director is giving me the sign. So, yeah, Julian, tell us what's coming up on the program this morning.
All right, so let me at least give you the heads up. The main person we're going to start with this morning is we will be chatting with Ashworth Jack, former minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly, looking towards a better Tobago. So we're going to get his perspective. And we'll also be chatting this morning with Curtis Douglas, president of the All Tobago Fisher Folk Association. And we're speaking to the fuel price hike and the ripple effect. And who do we wrap with this morning, Rhea?
Wrapping us up this morning, we will be chatting with Sherry and Rolex Hackett, event curator for the Caribbean Splendor. So we're going to hear a little bit more about that on the program.
All right, thank you so much for each and every one of you continuing to join and to support the Tobago Updates morning show. This is your time to share the light, share the light, share the light.
Percent off. Outstanding discounts on selected Serta, Sealy, and Therapeutic mattress brands. Check us out today at American Stores, where we make quality living affordable.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
And creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treat. This is Uncle Pete's.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting this morning with former minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Ashworth Jack. On the program this morning, we are talking about a few areas, covering a few areas, the new THA minority, the PDP launching in Trinidad, foreign investment needed for Tobago's development, and other issues. Good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Jack.
Good morning, thank you for having me. Good morning to Tobago and all the other persons viewing on the World Wide Web.
No, it's been a little while since we've chatted with you. I mean, the last time I think we had you on the program was just after Sorry?
Yeah, just after the election.
Just after the elections, good. It's just about, what, 4 months into things, 5 months, just about. Give us an idea, your thoughts on how you see the political landscape developing in Tobago.
Yeah, I want to put into perspective, because sometimes we see time as 4 months, but I consider it 1/8 of the term.
Okay.
You know, and we have to see it in that light if you really want to be able to judge progress. And yes, we are 1/8 into the term. At the end of this year, you'll have done 25% of the term. And even as leaders and stuff, we have to look at it like that, you know, to really judge where we are, if we have done enough, what we're doing, and stuff like that. You know, I was called over this program last night, so I had to make some quick calls. Besides my own observations, I had to make some quick calls to kind of garner people's views and stuff. And I think one of the most pervasive views that you seem to be getting is that the economy is not picking up quick enough. Right? And that there need to be more done to stimulate.
But you would admit here that the economy has taken quite a major hit.
Oh yeah, and that is one of the things that we need to look at. COVID, the economy was not good before COVID. I mean, anybody who says it was playing the proverbial ostrich.
And then COVID did not help.
Right, and then COVID came, and then COVID was a catastrophe for most of Tobago economy. So I think the new administration came in at a time that you have to start from below ground zero. You can't even say from ground zero, because ground zero would mean that you had something going. You know, the tourism product was, of course, it was bad before, and of course, because of the COVID, you had no tourism. And interestingly, at the top of me coming here, it was the news that spoke about the return of the New York flight.
Right.
Into Tobago. Of course, a welcome return, but a lot have to be done, you know, to fill those places, because the diaspora of Trinbagonians living in New York is extremely large.
That's right.
And we have to reach out to them. You know, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he was saying to me, when we go in New York, a place I don't really like. I will go to the United States, but I'm not a New York person.
Okay. You're not a fan?
If I want to go in Tobago, I'll stay in Tobago. When you go to New York, as soon as you land in New York, you're in Tobago. Somebody calls you, hey, I hear you just come for free. It's like, okay. You know, but of course, the majority of our people from the diaspora are in New York. I see it not only as an opportunity for human bodies,
right,
but I also see it as an opportunity for trade. And that is one thing that Tobago have not made the best use of in terms of cargo space. I went to a launch of Tatco the other day, and I saw Tatco putting on some really nice indigenous products. You know, there was some local mix for a number of things. You know, and there was the cassava flour, breadfruit flour, a number of stuff like that. And I think this is an opportunity for Tobago to use that cargo space to export things. I was talking to my niece on Monday, and she was boasting to me that she went and buy a red snapper. And then she said, Uncle Witty, you need to sit down. I said, what? She said, I want to tell you the price. And she's in the Washington area, and she was telling me that the red snapper fetches about 20 something US dollars a pound.
Yeah, about 25 US.
So I see a number of opportunities presenting itself in this flight that goes both into London and into New York. So I think that is something that we need to capitalize on.
Right.
Mr. Ashwood Jack.
So Julian.
Yes, how are you doing this morning?
I get up this morning, I was able to drive into town. Beautiful start to the day.
You know, as somebody in the political landscape, I like to put you in the hot spot on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, before we even get further into the issues, how would you rate the first few months of this current administration?
7.
Just about 7.
And let me tell you, I've come to the place in my life, I see things the way I see them. And I'm also saying that based on the fact that, you know, there are so many things that you have to do, so many catching up areas. I'm hearing some of the comments that people are making, but any new administration that comes in at a 10, somebody lying to you. Mm-hmm. And so, I am not going to do that. The thing about that is that when a new administration comes in, there are so many changes that need to be made. And then I'm now privy to some things that I wasn't privy to before. And I'm telling you, Tobago was in a mess. Tobago was in a mess. I don't envy the people who have to clean this up, but I hope that they have the testicular fortitude to clean it, because it will work for all of us. It is in the best interest of all of us to clean up some of the stuff. I mean, when you hear some of the stuff, it's like, whoa. It's really, really, really terrible.
So I want to get a sense from you, particularly when you speak to tourism, and I know you just spoke about the flights that are also coming into Tobago. Let's delve in a little bit to how important or critical do you think it is, because we continue to face the challenge of what is certainly going to be limited resources coming from central government. And if I want us to speak a little bit towards the importance of foreign investment to move Tobago forward as part of what this current administration has spoken to.
Well, let me quickly touch tourism. I don't think Tobago have ever lived up to its full potential in tourism. I don't even know if we have lived up to 10% of our potential. I have a very good friend who is a minister in St. Kitts Nevis. And I would never forget, in January of 2000, he called me. And he said, when you're coming home, buddy? I said, this year for sure. I mean, nobody told me that we were going to have COVID. Right. And he said, well, I know the reason I called you. I called it to Bose. I said, to Bose? He said, yeah. He said, well, tourism. I said, talk to me. He said, you know what was the numbers last year? I said, 400. He had a laugh. He said, just over 1.1 million people. I said, wow. In that year, we did 22,000. St. Kitts Nevis put together is smaller than Tobago. There is nothing that St. Kitts Nevis has that Tobago don't possess. But I think that there's a kind of relaxed, laissez-faire attitude that says, you know, we're going to get with transfers, so what we need to do this for? And I'm saying to all of us that we need to understand that we need to get away from everybody being employed by the state. And because if everyone is employed by the state, then the state has a certain kind of hold over you. You know, I see people some people making noise about the administration change, and some people are displaced and stuff. And I had to ask a friend, I said, do you know anywhere in the world that an administration change and there are not changes in terms of personnel? And he said, you know, maybe the United States. And I said, in the United States, 10,000 workers come with the president. I want people to understand that. When a president changes in the United States, especially if a different party comes in, 10,000 people are displaced.
So this is expected? It
is expected. Yeah. And that is why people campaign and say we're going to change stuff. And if you just do nothing, because remember, those secretaries and assistant secretaries are just at the top of the food chain. A lot of the decisions and the implementation take place lower down the chain. And some of those are persons who came in specifically because of their affiliation. And they're expected to carry out the dictates of who is their secretaries and assistant secretaries. You're going to have really a lot of problems. I remember in 2001, when the administration changed, the then chief secretary made it absolutely clear that if you have contracts, go home. Or do let me send you home. You know, and so I hear people talking and I say, whoa.
It's expected.
But in terms of foreign investment, Tobago's size, if it's so small, and we have this predictable 4.03% of the budget. But every year we ask for larger and larger sums. Of course, it never goes past about something billion.
Right.
And it means there are a number of things that cannot get done. Of course, with better use of the money, we could do some other things. But there are some things, even with the best use, the best intent, you will not be able to do. And because you don't have the kind of economy size that allows business people to do reinvestment, and all over the world, and I always like to use China as a case in point. About 30-something years ago, China was unheard of in terms of economics.
Right.
China played it really coy, and they invited everybody, come to China. We have the population size, we have the labor, we have all kind of thing. And in less than 35 years, China had become the second largest economy in the world. Not using their own money, but using investment from foreign.
Now, we saw quite recently where the Deputy Chief Secretary, Mr. Watson Duke, was in Dubai and seeking and promoting Tobago and seeking that type of foreign investment. Give us your thoughts on that.
I think that would, it was a beautiful opportunity to sell Tobago. Tobago need a lot more of that. Right. There are so many opportunities that we can explore. I know that when you look at what's happening in tourism, they have been spending a large amount of money to do all kind of things except promote Tobago. You know, and I always
you say except
promote Tobago. I'm not boasting, but I'm a traveler. I have traveled extensively, and I have not seen Tobago promoted anywhere outside of Tobago. So Tobago is the world's best kept secret. Yet, when you turn on your television, you see on Steve Harvey and a number of shows, you see prizes to Grenada, to St. Vincent, to Barbados, to Jamaica, and a number of those things. And when you look at the viewership, 50 million, 40 million people are viewing. That is money well spent. And Tobago have
Mr. Ja,
to look at some of the things that is, they have advantage in. And let me just say this before I take you, Julian. Dolphin watching. If anybody told us a couple of years ago that Tobago had so much dolphin, we say no. But Tobago have endless dolphin in the wild. And it have never been even kept as an advertisement to promote Tobago. You know, so there's a lot that needs to be done.
Okay.
So how do you feel we can better spend these resources? Because year after year, whether it is the division of tourism, whether it is the tourism agency, we are participating in a number, over the years, we've participated in a number of international shows and conventions and opportunities to market Tobago. We've spent a lot. What should be done differently to ensure that we get value for money? What's your perspective?
And that is what someone was just saying, Julian. We travel, from what I recognize, and I am subject to correction because I'm not perfect. We travel for trips. People travel because they get to go on a trip to ITV Berlin or World Travel Market. They get to see another island. They get to get per diem. That's basically what you see. Because if we're going the same places that everyone else is going, but we're getting nothing out of it, it's either we're sending the wrong people or we're doing the wrong thing. But if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. And that's what we have been doing. We have been pumping more money into paying for airline seats and all that, and we're getting less people coming.
So what are you suggesting? What should we do?
No, I'm going to go again. Okay? We need to promote Tobago in the areas that we are. Okay, we're going into New York. What have we done to promote Tobago in New York? I remember they was bringing a Brazilian flight. And when the Brazilian flight was coming in, I was wondering, okay, what have we done to promote Tobago in Brazil? It's that Tobago, that Brazilian know that there's this place called Tobago, and these are the things that they offer. And I was talking to some friends, and they were in Brazil, and they came out and said, Jack, we just came back from Brazil. And nobody ever heard of Tobago. And I said, but we actually paying an airline to run 6 and 7 people into Tobago just to say, oh, we have a connection with you. Or if you're going to go into New York, go back into New York, go back into London, or go back into I think they're going to do a Barbados one soon. You have to be able to promote in that destination. So by the time the first flight takes off, a lot of people know that this is what it is. And, and then you have to promote here too. To tell people, hey, we could carry to New York for a weekend, you know.
Okay.
And it could be back.
All right.
Mr. Jack, are you hopeful that just to switch a little bit, the agriculture sector is one of those things that we can sufficiently rebuild, so to speak, in the Tobago space, and to increase the interest even among younger farmers to ensure that once again we become a thriving industry in terms of the agriculture sector?
Julian, I think one of the easiest places to start is agriculture. And we can start simply by looking at our import out of Trinidad and fix some of the short-term stuff. We importing shadow benny, you know. Fitweed. In every yard in Tobago, you could have just gone out in the yard and picked shadow benny. We importing shadow benny. We importing dasheen leaves. We importing dasheen from St. Vincent and Grenada. Those are things we need to be talking to farmers. And one of the things that had killed Tobago agriculture was poor marketing. I remember there are times that the marketing board, we used to call it at the time, you will tell you, do this, plan that, plan this, plan that. And when you do, there's a glut on the market because they're not proper facility in terms of storage. You know, Tobago still doesn't have a freeze blaster. A freeze blaster is one of those things that instead of putting things in the deep freeze to get frostbite, you use a freeze blaster. You immediately freeze it. And it can be kept for months, for years. So it means that the price that farmers pay wouldn't have to be fluctuating when there's plenty. Every farmer is on the side of the road with a van trying to sell, virtually give away his produce. There had to be some predictability. That being said, I have noticed that TATCO seem to be taking a direction in terms of processing and all that. I've seen the issue of registering your breadfruit tree and stuff like that, so they can purchase all those products because breadfruit flour and stuff like that is a big thing. Breadfruit and plantain flour, I know because we make it at home all the time, right? And so yes, I think agriculture is one of those things, and agriculture have to be seen as a business. And young people don't have to think that when they can't do anything else, the only thing they could do is agriculture. They must see agriculture as a career, as a profession, that they can do that and make a very good living. Listen, sometimes you see tomato $20 a pound, $30 a pound. I mean, yes, I think that, and even when there's a glut, if it's purchased and do dry tomatoes, if you have been to Italy, you will recognize that dry tomatoes are a big thing for the pizzas and a number of stuff, you know. And I'm saying we don't have to waste all those stuff because all it costs for is a dehydrator. It doesn't call for much.
Okay. I'm looking here at the timer. Our director is saying that we're just about almost out of time or out of time. But very quickly, we want to get your thoughts on the launch of the PDP in Trinidad that we saw over the weekend.
Democracy at works. It have always been that somebody do something in Trinidad and it comes to Tobago. You know, I can't remember which book it was, you know, but one of my old history books spoke about colonization in reverse.
Mm-hmm. What a joyful news, Miss Matty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my
exactly.
boss. Yeah.
Yes. So it shows you that size is no barrier to what you can do, you know, and I think that we live in interesting times, you know, and I just want to say to those persons who are involved, don't expect it to be easy. You're going to be attacked from every side. You're going to hear things about yourself that you didn't know. I used to go over and look for me, you know. When I was very heavily involved in the politics, I used to go home looking for me. I say, you have to have another Ashwood here somewhere. Because I hear things about me that I didn't even know. You know? So I used to go look at, and there are going to be a lot of people going to be looking for themselves when they get home. You know, but at the end of it, I think, wow, democracy is not just about voting. It's about people's participation. Okay. You know, and the wider the participation, the deeper the democracy.
Just very quickly, we can't have him here maxing about one but not the other. The PNM just had its internal elections, and there is now a new political leader in the person of Dennis and a new chairman in the person of Paul at the helm. Your thoughts? Very quickly, 30 seconds.
Some things are better left unsaid. But that being said, you know, I think we have to give people an opportunity to prove themselves. You know, give people an opportunity to prove themselves. Right? Ansel was the chief secretary, so I'm not sure if it's really new, because even if you're a political leader in Tobago and you're not the chief secretary, then you don't have the same amount of clout. So Ansel had a lot of clout, and I think that opportunity was squandered. And yes, I'm seeing they have a new leadership, and let's give them an opportunity to see what they can do, you know, because the same way we're saying to give the other people an opportunity. But the only thing that I find very disingenuous is that people saying, well, it wasn't me. But a couple of months ago, you were defending the track record of the same thing you're saying I don't know about. I mean, how could you defend the track record yesterday and then today say, no, I didn't know about it? Okay. That is very disingenuous. And I think that's one of the things that people need to do. People need to just be open upfront, and deal with stuff. If we do things and we're sorry and we move on.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being able to chat with us this morning, Mr. Ashwood Jack, former minority leader of the THA. You know, there's a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, so sometimes we see something working good, Julian, but we have in our minds it could work better if we change it. I say to our customers, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You know, I do agree with that, right?
You don't agree with it?
With that. If we didn't fix things, then we would not make progress.
Continuous growth.
Another point.
Yeah.
Another point.
I really don't agree with that at all. I think it's a lazy thing.
A lazy thing.
Yeah, I don't want to do
anything
for that.
Trust me, it works at times. it has its place, all right?
Okay.
But thank you so much for chatting with us this morning. So, Julian.
Ashwood Jack always bringing a different perspective there in relation to the politics, and we're happy that he continues to make himself available.
Yes.
even as he says, not being as active as he was back then. You know what I mean? In the politics, we're happy that he continues to make himself available, contributing and putting out perspectives there in the Tobago and the Trinidad and Tobago landscape. Certainly.
Most definitely, most definitely. So we can expect to hear more from him in the future. But we've got to switch gears here. You know, we've got lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So viewers, share the live, share the live, share the live.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Are you looking for that all-in-one shopping experience? Then look no more. Visit Lamb's Best Mart for your grocery items, fruits and vegetables, drinks, home items, stationery, gift items, hampers, shopping gift cards, toiletries, small hardware items, and much more. We provide order and pickup service, even delivery to your door. We are your friendly community supermarket. Check us out today at Lamb's Best Mart, located at 22 Daniel Trace Canby, or visit us on social media at Lamb's Best Mart. Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero. Champion. Fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe, cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Updates morning show, and lots of great and exciting things happening here on the program. I am here, and Julian is off set this morning, but certainly carrying on an excellent show. So we're chatting this morning with Mr. Curtis Douglas, the president of the Old Tobago Fisher Folk Association, or ATFA, Old Tobago, ATFA. And this morning we're talking about the increase in oil prices. We're taking a look this morning, the increase in fuel prices. And we're taking a look this morning at the trickle-down effect as it relates to the Fisher Folk and the Fishing Association in Tobago. Yeah?
Good morning to all the listeners and followers of the update. Spread the live, share the live.
That's right, share the live.
And before I even go further, I would like to say, I know my opportunity to say, happy early Mother's Day to all the mothers that is coming up. So happy Mother's Day to you all. Now to business. So we have now the rise in gas price, or petrol as they say. So what would happen with that now when the gas price was raised? Normally we used to pay $175 for a jug. And something we need 6 of those jugs. Now we have to pay $215. So to start, there is a 23 in price percentage increase in gas price. So how do we deal with that? So that will cause a ripple effect whereby the price of fish, the cost of fish price will go up, right? So with that go up now, when the government passed those prices to us, we now have to pass it on to the public, which is our brothers and sisters that we sell in Tobago. Now Tobagonians are more affected by this gas price. Right? Now, we in Tobago now have to go further. Right? Before a long time, we could have go 5 miles and make a heel and come in. Now, we have to go 40 and 45 miles to even catch a a fish.
Thus using up more fuel.
More fuel. So that means we have to go further and we have to, just work a bit more harder. So now you will find the fish price will be around about $32 a pound. And we are saying, we are not only complaining, we are also bringing solutions to the table to treat with that. So we are saying to the government, hey, we understand all that is taking place, right? With the raise of petrol and gas and oil. But the Tobago diaspora, right, we are the one that are feeling most of this burden, right? We are here to represent Tobago and the fishing industry in Tobago. So we are saying, if you could either do one of the two things, Ria. You could either bring back regular gas for us and give us the gas rebate, or you could then, in return, give the Tobago fisher folk gas rebate. For over 5 years, we haven't gotten gas rebate. And that Trinidad is getting gas rebate while Tobago is not getting it.
And why is that?
Well, it all boils down to the Director of Fisheries of Tobago, because there's two Director of Fisheries, one for Trinidad and one for Tobago. Mr. Utley is failing us miserably. But we would have had a conversation with Mr. Assemblyman Tate that is working assiduously to ensure that Tobago we all on the same playing ground to treat with that, right? So with the gas rebate, when we have the gas rebate, then we could now lower the cost of the price of the fish, so the consumer would be able to receive and at least say, well, hey, what? I'm going to buy $100 worth in fish, and that will last us for 2 or 3 weeks, or whatever the case may be. But without that gas rebate, the pressure on the people going to continue. So we are saying, before we know you made a decision, but there is still time to have that conversation with the Chief Secretary, to represent Tobago, to deal with these issues. So we are saying to the Minister of Finance and to the Prime Minister, have that conversation with the Chief Secretary to discuss the bumps and leaps and nails and broken bottles in our shoes that is facing the depletion of our fishing industry.
Okay.
Now, and Julian?
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it nice kind of morning to you? But isn't it nice talk when you say that, if the prices go back down, then it will be reduced? That sounds like the taxi drivers that tell you we have an increase in taxi fare, but if they reduce the prices, we will take it back down.
Well, yeah, but in our case, we are talking about a staple that is a key commodity in Tobago. We're talking about food. And I think we've been advertising about food security. I mean, the world is crazy about food security, and we have to learn to start to protect our food security in the world. And this is the first step, part of the first step in treating with that. Now, I mean, when you're hungry, it's different from when you could walk to a destination. We are talking about food here, right? So we are trying to do our part to ensure that Tobago and Trinidad, the food security or that main staple, will be able to be on our table to maintain a healthy lifestyle and to be able to have a longer life, because you are what you eat. So we are trying to help promote that. But if they continue or decide to give us that rebate, Julian, it will really trickle down to the people. It's food we're talking about. We're not talking about no fancy thing, it's about meal surviving or basic survival. Tobago is a fishing community, right? So we must be able to maintain that. 99% of the fisher folks in Tobago are pirogue fishermen. And more so, let me even go further, Julian. Let me go further. When I even consider having a cheaper fish, which is the flying fish, right? Tobago is a home for flying fish, right? Now, even with that, we have at least, right now as I'm speaking, we have more than a fleet of 23 Bajans, right? Bajans in our waters. The Prime Minister have given them the consent to come into our waters and to catch our flying fish. We are pirogue fishermen. When we go out and come home, the Bajans are living there. As 20 boats go, 20 more come in. How will we be able, as Tobagonian, to compete with this in our own waters? No consideration was given for Tobago. Now, Trinidad, you don't catch flying fish in Trinidad. That decision was made basically, probably, I don't know, I can't say, right? But when the Prime Minister say the price fair and raising of gas is fair, it cannot be fair. That cannot be fair because it is very difficult for us to compete. There is no VAT exemption importing four-stroke engines or having the ADB set up a structure whereby we could buy bigger boats through ATFA and the THA to help to be able to compete with the world because the world competing in our own backyard. We are competing with our own people, with other people in our own backyard. So these are things that need to be thought out, needed was to be thought out and to dealt with. We didn't, as I said, we didn't only come to complain. We come with the solution to cry Tobago forward because even in all of this, it will affect the tourism because when the tourists come for game fishing and stuff like that, the cost will have to go up more, right? The cost will have to go up more. So there will be a ripple effect on those who come from game fishing and those who ply the trade to maintain their families. So it's a whole ripple effect in moving forward. And quite frankly, the executive and ATFA and the Fisher folks are calling on the Chief Secretary, to help us in this situation, in this fight, in moving forward. And also Mr. Duke, we are calling on them to represent us, right? Because they are our representative and we put our faith in them to represent us at all costs, to be quite frankly.
Have you reached out to them at this point?
Right. What would have happened? We are still awaiting a meeting with the Chief Secretary to treat with some of these matters. What I didn't even mention are some of the challenges. We have Shell recently complete a gas line from outside Castara to Trinidad. They celebrated key success. All the natural minerals and things that are happening in Tobago, in Trinidad and Tobago, that is contributing to the GDP of Trinidad and Tobago, or Tobago and Trinidad, and natural minerals are coming from Tobago. Plus now, we have BHP Billington, which is coming into our waters to start a geotechnical survey for 3 years. The last survey they finished recently was last year. And right now, that's why you can't get fish. This survey runs the fish because they destroy the flora and the fauna and also the marine life. So the fish and them because we are doing migratory fish, they will move. We see hardship for 2 or 3 years. And on top of that, they would have destroyed more than 200 fads and fish, but for the fishing public in Tobago, which they had not or yet to compensate the people. We have the evidence of it, the video recordings of it, and they are defending. So we are calling now on the relevant authority to treat that. Mind you, when these people are doing this survey, we have to now stay 500 meters away, right? So all of these corporate sororities are only in Tobago for one thing, and that one thing is money. They're not in Tobago for the development of Tobago, it's for money. But what we are saying, we are willing to work with these people, right? But you must also leave a footprint in Tobago. Contribute to a university, contribute to something so that when you leave, you could say, well, listen, we have contributed to here what? We have just given the THA ATFA 50 people that will be able to go to the university and study, right? So improve Tobagonian lives. These are some of the things that we are asking for. These are some of the things that we are advocating for to benefit the lives of Tobagonians. So when you know you have a 14-year-old or 15-year-old, we start at that age that they know. At 15, they know that they are going to be a lawyer, they're going to be a doctor, they're going to be economists, and BHP and Shell and all of them could contribute to the development of the education process and development in Tobago.
Okay.
Curtis, I want you to tell us a little bit. Recently, we saw the return of the capital of paradise and the work that is being done in terms of the new TADCO board and the team there in moving the date of the current administration forward. How do you see, or rather I should ask, what is the working relationship with the Tobago fisher folk? Because you would certainly be one of those main stakeholders in relation to connecting with TADCO to move us forward as an island in that regard. How is that relationship and how do you see it working for the Tobago Fisher Folk Association and by extension, Tobago?
Right. I'm glad you asked that question basically, what we had a discussion with the director of TATCO, which is Mr. Alfred. Kudos to you, sir, and also with the secretary in charge of fisheries, Mr. Nigel Tate. Now, the capital of paradise is a great product and tool for Tobago. Now, let's be clear. The capital of paradise was bought for fisher folks, right? So, what the capital of paradise would be doing? Once the capital of paradise can also have that gas rebate. Now, the capital of paradise will contribute to the GDP of Tobago. Now, the GDP of Tobago, that is the forex, which is the US. Now, when the capital of paradise goes out, we concentrate. His main concentration is tuna, but they would also catch what you call bycatch. Bycatch is like kingfish, dolphin, grouper, and all of these things, right? So the bycatch in which they comes in, it will then now come over to ATFA, and ATFA will distribute it to some of these vendors, so that we will now be able to control the pricing of fish. So from $30, we try to push it down to 20 or even 25, so that the public and the Tobago diaspora will be able to benefit from the investment of Tobago capital of paradise. And also, we will be benefiting from the forex exchange that the tuna that they will be catching, that is coming and contribute to the economy and the growth of the fishing industry. So here what? We will then, once you come through ATFA, you will be able to get registered. You will be able to get, when capital price comes in, the bycatch, so you could be able to get your kingfish, you could get your dolphin at a reasonable rate, so that the consumer could participate and benefit from the investment of the Tobago diaspora and the fishing industry.
All right, but I'm afraid that, Curtis, it seems as though we really got to leave it there for this time, but we really want to thank you for chatting with us. And these are issues and areas that we need to keep following up on, yes, because it doesn't only affect the fisher folk, it affects all of us.
Everybody.
All right, so,
everybody.
Julian, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pay for fish this weekend. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to, are you cooking for Lavin this weekend? Is fish on the menu?
Well, you never know what's on that menu lineup. It's Mother's Day weekend. I might have to call Curtis for a special.
I tell you.
No problem. And yes, there will be a special. There will be a special for all mothers in terms of the fishing community. There will be a special for you. Let's go and say you're all a mother, and all the vendors will be able to facilitate that. So happy Mother's Day to you all. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Julian. You're not a mother. I'm a mother. I'll take charge. I'll take the lead.
You so collect much for us, Ria.
That's right. All right.
Yes.
So, viewers, we've got lots more coming up. We head over to Devon Adana with This Day in Tobago History.
This Day in Tobago History. Did you know that on May 6, 2020, former Assemblyman Ansel Dennis became the youngest person to hold the office of Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly? According to PNMTobagoCouncil.com, Mr. Dennis was elected as a representative for Buku Mount Pleasant in the THA in January 2013 at the tender age of 26. This made him the youngest assemblyman in THA history. In his tenure in the Assembly, Mr. Dennis also became the youngest deputy presiding officer of the THA when he was appointed at age 27. However, 2 years ago today, Mr. Dennis became Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly after an election was held for the vacant position among the elected Assembly people. Of course, the position of Chief Secretary was left open upon the resignation of former Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles. The position is customarily elected from among those who have faced the polls and were successful during the THA election. In the past, the person who is elected is often the political leader of the winning party. However, the Chief Secretary vacancy in 2020 presented a dilemma. The person elected political leader of the PNM Tobago Council, Mrs. Tracy Davidson Celestin, was at the time a PNM councillor in the THA. Though she is a THA election veteran, she had not faced the polls prior to being elected political leader. When the elections for Chief Secretary were held at the Assembly Legislature on May 6, Mr. Dennis, who was nominated unopposed, was victorious but had a difficult administration to helm. At the time, Tobago was only 2 months into dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and additionally, the island was soon to embark on a THA election that would result in its first tie, with each of the major parties winning 6 seats. During Mr. Dennis's first speech upon being elected, he set the tone by stating that we should not expect any showmanship from him, that he would not be seeking new exploits, but to create a team effort to ensure the utilization of the resources of Tobagonians, so we come out of the pandemic with our dignity and quality of life intact. The duration of Mr. Dennis's time as Chief Secretary was extended by 11 months owing to the 6-6 deadlock, which was not resolved until well into 2021, paving the way for elections in December of that year. You've been watching This Day in Tobago History. My name is Devon Adana. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much there, Devon Adana.
Thank you so much, Devon. And wishing you a happy Mother's Day.
That's
Enjoy
right. Happy
the
Mother's Day to you.
weekend. May those children keep you and Rhea very, very busy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what we like this Mother's Day, but more rest, Julian, is what we're looking for. But yes, and happy Mother's Day to you too, Rhea.
Thank you so much. And I trust that you enjoy it this weekend.
Yes.
All right. So, Julian, it's just about time for us to wrap up. Say goodbye to Tobago, Trinidad, the Caribbean, or viewers on the live.
Certainly this morning. And I want to take the opportunity to also say, Rhea, I want to congratulate you as a mother. To congratulate you. You have some wonderful children, some of whom I've had the opportunity to interact with, and to wish you a happy Mother's Day. And I know that they're going to make every effort within these challenging times to make it as enjoyable as possible for you. And I also want to send out a Mother's Day shout outs. Yes, Rhea, to Laverne Simon, coming from Lavienne and I. And also Mother's Day shout out to my grandmother, Ursula Skeet, out there in Buku. And all those females out there that continue to lend us, that support, that love, that continued growth and development. That critical role of mother. We trust that you have an enjoyable Mother's Day celebration. And we see you on Monday.
That's right. So happy Mother's Day going out to all the mothers out there. And we trust that you have a really enjoyable weekend. And it's just about time for us to say goodbye. Yes, Julian, you want to add?
And just before you wrap quickly, we wanted to send out condolences to one of our loyal viewers, Dee Dee Vincent, because she has a funeral today in terms of her uncle. And we know that she won't be on with us. She would not have been on with us today, but in some days, I'm sure she would go back to tuning. But we send condolences out to Dee Dee Vincent and the family as well.
Condolences to you too, Dee Dee Vincent. And I've got to put up my picture. Maybe on Monday I'm going to put up my picture with myself and Dee Dee from over Easter weekend. So Tobago, Trinidad, Caribbean, those of you on the live, have a really great day. Stay safe. Enjoy your Mother's Day out there, mothers. And we will see you, God willing, on Monday morning. Remember to wear your mask. Sanitize. Julian, how are we doing it this morning, boy? What we doing? That's right. It's socially distanced. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.
Good morning.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
To a tasting, a crab and dumpling tasting. There's so many things that we want to be able to show persons that are different to what has been offered.
Good morning. Put a smile on
Rest easy at American stores. Up to 20% off. outstanding discounts on selected Certa, Sealy, and therapeutic mattress brands. Check us out today at American Stores, where we make quality living affordable.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe, cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates.
Your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region.
With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson.
And I'm Denise Dempster.
Here's a look at what's happening in your news in 90 seconds.
Tobago once again has a direct link to JFK International Airport via Caribbean Airlines. CAR resumed its direct flights yesterday for the first time since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. 54 passengers disembarked at the ANR Robinson International Airport, but the flight has the capacity for 320 passengers. Secretary for Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, was pleased to welcome the flight, noting that Tobago was one of the last islands in the Caribbean to allow the return of international flights. She's, however, looking forward to seeing how this flight helps revive tourism. Meanwhile, there is not yet a committee in place for the hosting of Tobago's Carnival, which is scheduled for the last weekend in October. Speaking to Tobago Updates, Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, said the committee will be announced in 1 week's time. She says because the Tobago Carnival is new, it is taking the technocrats some time to flesh out a concept that will work. It is why details and calendar events have not yet been released to the public. In other news, Drugs to Sue founder Karen Clark received the green light from the court to sue the police for failure to grant him a firearms user's license. Justice Nadia Kangaloo granted Clark leave to pursue his judicial review claim against the commissioner after an attorney for the state admitted it could not resist the leave application. Clark sued the commissioner after the Firearms Appeal Board in October 2021, and the court ordered the commissioner to grant him a full. He had applied for it in 2014, but in 2020, his application was refused. Clark appealed to the FAB, which ruled in his favor. That was the news in 90 seconds.
All right, so there we have it. A bit of your news for this morning on this Good Friday morning. As you know, we get ready for the weekend. Of course, it's a big weekend for mothers because Mother's Day is coming up then this year. So yeah, you know.
You don't find that, like I said yesterday, it flew fast?
Yes.
Like I thought, and forgive me, I assumed that, you know, Mother's Day. I was like, wait, what week it is? Like, what day it is? Because in my mind, I'm thinking it's next week, not realizing that the 8th is actually this week. So I had a little bit amnesia there for a second. But in other news, we have this whole carnival situation. I mean, I assume by now that we would have gotten the names for the persons who would have been on the committee, because when you really think about it, October may seem far away, but the months is really flying very fast. So by the time you look, October will be right around the corner. And I know that it was stated that we'd have gotten the names a lot more sooner. However, that did not happen. And as she said, you know, because it's new, there's a little bit more fine-tuning, and, you know, they want to make sure that things do come off as it's supposed to. So it's going to take a little bit longer. But I am excited and anxious because I'm really looking forward to see what really is going to happen, if it's something going to be different from the carnival that we normally see, or this is something going to be different on a whole, you know, scale that will really and truly boost our economy and tourism.
Yes. So, I mean, one of the complaints, again, coming from some of these stakeholders is that, you know, especially a lot of them that are from Trinidad, because they need, they like to have as much time as possible to prepare, because it is a big deal for them. And it's not something, I mean, they can do it short of notice, but the more time they have, the better. And if we want it to be successful, and then you want to have that draw from the Trinidad market, from outside of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to have some of that information. But I know we have a little clip, because when we were at the arrival of that JFK flight yesterday, we were able to ask Secretary Tasha Boris a couple questions on what's going on with Carnival, and we have that clip lined up for you, so we'll just get into it right now.
Carnival stuff. Oh boy. We've been getting some complaints from the business community in regards to get those dates available. They don't know what the schedule of events are. Right. So we want to know what's happening. Where is the committee? Well, the things that we need in place to start plans for Carnival in Tobago. Right.
So I'm surprised that you got some complaints, because no one has reached out to me indicating that they have issues. The reality is that the Carnival in Tobago is a new concept in terms of what is happening now. It's one of the new activities that this administration has planned to boost our tourism product. There will be a committee, or there is a committee in place. The committee has to do its work. So that committee will be charged with the responsibility of crafting what this carnival looks like, and certainly the business community as stakeholders in that will be part of that discussion. So if we have not started engaging them, it's unfortunate that they would start to complain about something that they really have no information about. The committee will do its work, and we are very confident that the persons who are on the committee will be able to provide the necessary expertise. They bring that to the table. They bring the support of the stakeholders to the table. And we just want people to embrace the concept of the Tobago Carnival as what it is intended to be, which is a profit-earning activity, which is an activity to boost tourism, especially in that October time, because usually October is a time where we have very, very low uptake in terms of domestic travel because school has just opened. You would have the winter season now starting. The idea is that this is an activity that could bring much needed foreign exchange to Tobago for the entire month. So what we want people to do is really kind of just give us some time to flesh out the concept that works, a concept that embraces all of the stakeholders certainly, to ensure that everybody can get some kind of return on their investment, because we don't want to leave anybody out.
Is there any time that you're saying that to the committee as to say, okay, well, let's announce the dates to Juve, let's announce the dates to this?
Right, so there are some activities that are standard in a carnival. You will have a Juve, you will have a parade of the bands. But the thing is that we don't want the Tobago Carnival to be just like any other carnival. So what that requires is some innovation, some creativity, and it requires discussion. So that takes some time, because remember, people are bringing a lot of ideas to the table. How do you go about selecting which one are the best ones or which ones can work? In addition to that, the committee has to have the conversations with the stakeholders, because there are persons who have ideas out there. We don't want to leave them out of the conversation. We are in May. This activity is October. In terms of it being financed, the Tobago House of Assembly is making that investment certainly. But again, the onus is on all of us to get together and embrace the idea behind it, which is we want Tobago to make money. Tourism is one of the pillars of our economy. And part of that is ensuring that we have activities that are going to get people onto the island. And that's the purpose behind this carnival. So the committee will be announced next week, right? We will actually be putting together something of a press conference where we will announce the committee. We will allow persons to ask questions and that kind of thing, because we recognize that there might be some speculation going on in this space. And we want to debunk some of the information that is going on out there. The reality is that some voices are louder than others. But we want to ensure that any information that comes out comes directly from the committee. Yes?
Right, and there you have it, just a little bit of a comments from the Secretary about the Tobago Carnival. I mean, we had it announced earlier this year, but we haven't had any details really put forward, so we're not yet sure what to expect. And as the Secretary said, we are hopefully having that information being given to us next week. Now, whether or not that will happen, that's left to be seen. But we have on the line Denise here. We will be speaking to Mr. Dexter Plant, and he is the director of Dexter Promotion. And we are going to be talking to him a little bit about the preparation for the Tobago Carnival. So I want to say a special good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Plant.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Denise here. And I can't remember exactly the name of the other host. But,
that's fine.
Good morning. Good morning, Candice. Good morning.
All right. So, okay, so hopefully you heard what the Secretary just said.
Yeah.
And I want to get your initial comments on what you heard.
Firstly, let me congratulate the Secretary and the Chief Secretary for taking the bold step of declaring a carnival independent from Trinidad. That is indeed a really big step. I think that apart from the idea, I think the carnival takes a lot of planning, right? I don't want to bash because I don't know what the committee is doing, as the Secretary said, but I also want to say that people who are involved, stakeholders who are involved in Carnival, need to plan. Carnival is a serious business. From a promoter's perspective, it's a great investment, a big investment. You don't want to be involved in something that is sort of looking like an experiment, right? Like, granted that Tobago Carnival, this is the first effort, and I really applaud the effort, but
Mr. Plant, I think your audio just went down a little bit, so just check to make sure nothing's blocking your speaker.
That's done.
All right, that's good.
Right, good. Right, so basically I'm saying I'm hoping that the event comes off beautifully. It's a great opportunity for Tobago to showcase Tobago in its full self. So I'm hoping that everything becomes a great success, and that each and every one benefits, the vendor on the street, the corporate Tobago.
Mr. Father, I think you hit your audio thing again. So just stay close to the device.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay.
I know
Okay,
you
fine.
said that you congratulate their efforts, but in your opinion, do you believe that it was really a smart move to try to plan ahead for Tobago Carnival in October? Or it should have been an initiative that could have potentially waited till next year?
Well, I'll tell you, there's no good time to initiate this kind of events. Carnival is a massive industry, and you're competing against a lot of different carnivals. And if you have to get in the space, I think this is the right time to get in the space, because a lot of carnivals, because of COVID, might have been cancelled. So this is an opportunity to get in the space, claim your space. So that is why I'm really enjoying the fact that Tobago really put a good effort into this carnival. And I understand the Secretary for Tourism, her selflessness in terms of allowing the committee to generate all these different ideas. But Carnival has a blueprint. The international carnivals are getting closer to the blueprint of Trinidad Carnival. And why we want to make Tobago Carnival very special, we have to be kind of mindful that we have to make Tobago an option for people, because there are many carnivals now. And people might think, well, I'm already in Trinidad for Carnival, so what am I getting from going to Tobago? So we have to really sit and really make this product not just a carnival, but a really grand experience to showcase Tobago in all its pride and all its essence, so that the world could see Tobago not just for carnival, but for vacation, for business. Tobago must showcase itself as not just for carnival, but for so many other things, because we're dependent on the tourist industry, and it can't be for October alone. So it's a grand opportunity to really showcase ourselves.
Have you had any conversations yet with anybody that's involved with the planning of the Tobago Carnival to know what can expect and how you and other promoters can plan to get involved?
Well, that's one of the issues that is bubbling around right now. But listening to the secretary, she's pleading for some time. I would say that now is May, and October might seem far, but in terms of event planning and rolling out your marketing and getting people on board, because if you want success in this event, people have to travel to Trinidad, and people have to take leave, make different priorities, decide, look, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to try this. And that will take planning. And sometimes people need a year to plan. So 4 months, 5 months is really not grand time to really play with if you want to have a successful event. Because this event is not just dependent on a man coming from Trinidad. We want to have the other Caribbean islands. We want to have New York. We want to have all the different areas in the world that takes part in Carnival, England, all the different areas. So once we can get everybody involved, it would be a great thing for us. So, and I think everybody would benefit as a whole. But I will say that it's really a grand step for the THA, and I congratulate them, because for many years this has been a political football, and it's becoming a reality now.
Some individuals may have some major concerns with the Tobago Carnival because we are still in a pandemic. So what would you say to that? Because we just had the Easter and we saw that there was some increase in cases. So what would you say about persons' concerns and precaution?
Well, I think that there are set COVID protocols in line, and I think promoters of events, in every way you can't control it, but you can try to control it as much as possible. And I expect people to be responsible and do the common sense thing. You know, if you're going out to an event, protect yourself, wash your hands, wear your mask until there's an occasion that you can actually take your mask off. You know, you don't have to expose yourself. You don't have to be shaking everybody's hand. You don't have to be talking in everybody's face. You know, so I think it's an opportunity that's bigger than COVID, and we have to do everything possible to make this event a success. I don't think that we should allow COVID, because other countries who are doing Carnival now, they're experiencing COVID also, and they're going ahead with their stuff. So I think we should try and not sit and say there is COVID, because if COVID lasts for the next 3 years, what do we do?
So, Mr. Plant, can you give me an idea of what promoters are hoping to see from the Carnival Committee to make a successful Carnival product in October?
Right. I think promoters are expecting to see, first up, what's the format. I've not been privy to find out what sort of format the Carnival would take. I know they're trying to make it different, but I don't know how much different. Carnival, like I said, has a blueprint, and I know that Tobago wants to include its own Tobago culture in it, but you don't want to veer too far off the blueprint, because people are trying to get the blueprint, and it is the blueprint that is attracting people. So while you want to include a lot of Tobago in it, you have to be careful that you don't veer too far off. As a promoter, I would like to see, to find out what are the routes for the Carnival, how are they planning to execute the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if they're going to have a parade, if they're going to have, if they're going to keep in one venue, like the stadium, and they have bands go around. What sort of format it will take is important for planning going forward. In terms of events, how tolerant would the authorities be for promoters who have an event? It's the first time for Tobago, and it's an opportunity to encourage promoters. Tobago have a lot of young promoters who are coming on the scene. We are going to be competing with a lot of other promoters from Trinidad, which is a good thing. I want everybody to think, because it's an opportunity to learn for most of the young promoters. It would give the Tobago Carnival more quality. So we can't just think about the fact that bigger promoters coming in on the scene and we won't make the money. But it's an opportunity to provide quality and to establish a standard. Because in this, you have to give people option. Carnival is big business. It's not about, I am from Tobago and I want the money for Tobagonians. Carnival is there to stay. And once it's there to stay, the money is going to come. But we have to set a good product that would attract the world to come. So if we keep in mind that this is the Tobago thing and we want Tobago promoters and only Tobago promoters, we don't have the resources to really host an event on the sort of grand standards that would attract international clientele. So we have to be mindful of that. I would like personally to see corporate Tobago come forward and give some assistance to the THA, because as I said, corporate Tobago will benefit massively if this event comes off in a real way. So I expect them to come on board. The Tobago House of Assembly alone cannot do this. This is a Tobago effort. I also want to implore on the people of Tobago to showcase the best of Tobago. And even if you're not in favor of the event, I want you to still come out there's this underlying current internationally that says Tobago is nice, but sometimes the people don't treat you that way. It's slow and they take the time to do things. You know, I want everybody to get on board. Get on board, because I know that Tobago has its own unique culture. It's beautiful. And I think that it's an opportunity for us to establish ourselves on the grand scale of things and really put our footprint in the sun.
Could you tell us about the event you are supposedly going to have in October?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have an event on the 27th of October, which is the day before. Well, I had to put it on that day because I don't know the format of the THA Carnival, and I didn't want to get inside of the carnival because I know they would have to have a juve and the parade band. So I came as close as possible, or close as I can, to the event. We're going to have because of the economy, we didn't want to go into an all-inclusive event. Our brand is normally all-inclusive, but because of the economy and the amount of events that might be happening, it might not be the best thing for the individual man. So with that in mind, our committee, have decided that we will scale back a bit in terms of the all-inclusive experience, but we're going to give you a even better vibes in terms of it will be a cooler, but a cooler with a twist. We have some beautiful surprises for you. We're also going to have a small, we are debating a small inclusive section, all-inclusive section, because they're the people who, naturally they like to feel, some people just don't like to go to an event and buy drinks. Some people like to know that they're in the event and they are catered for. And I like that, and I wouldn't in any way deter a customer if that's their choice. I think we are here to please as promoters, and we'll do our best to please them.
Right, great. Well, I want to thank you so much for speaking with us, and we hope that you and other promoters could get that information really soon, so we can put together a good product for persons to come to Tobago.
Yeah, I am confident that Tobago, like I said, this is not a THA thing. This is a Tobago thing. And when I say Tobago, I am talking about corporate Tobago and the THA and the people of Tobago. To be mindful that even if you have bad intention during that period, put it away. This is an opportunity for Tobago to grow. Do not stifle yourself. This is an opportunity to grow. And let us see it as that and embrace it. And I think everybody, in the end, this is bigger than all of us. This is an event that is grand. It has been a political football for years, been kicked down the road. Somebody has taken the initiative. Let us put everything aside and invest ourselves in it. And I think once we invest ourselves in it, there's no lose. There's no way to lose. It's a win-win situation.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Plant. All right. So Denise, well, hopefully we can see more of that information come out, and then we could see more of the promoters being able to get on board with this Tobago Carnival and put together a good show.
Yeah, because as Mr. Plan said, they need that information beforehand so they could plan accordingly. Because this is not just a THA thing, but it's a Tobago thing.
Right.
And I really want us, or I'm looking forward to seeing how it will boost our economy, especially coming out from the pandemic. Things has been tough for some people, and not just Tobago, persons, but things has been tough
especially
all around.
in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
They've been down, so...
And a lot of persons are looking forward to this kind of getaway to enjoy the nice vibes, ambience, etc. So I am looking forward to see how this would, unfold and what it would do for us, and as we try to get back on track.
Right.
After the past 2 years.
Yes, it's gonna be a little journey, but that's okay. We're in it for the long haul. So viewers, I just want to thank you so much for being with us this morning and for sticking around. And to the mothers out there that are listening on the live, I just want to wish you all a happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day on Sunday. Wish you all the best and thank you so much for all the work that you do to make sure that our nation's children can grow up right.
I definitely want to send a special shout out to my mother. Her name is Nadine Mohammed Dempster. You know, she has 5 children and she has always been there for us through thick and thin. You know, even though, you know, when you grow up, sometimes you don't necessarily feel like you need that input from your parent.
Yes.
But regardless, they are always there despite you feeling like you're a big woman. So I want to say a special, you know, shout out to my mother and say Happy Mother's Day and thank you for always being there for us and we love you very much. As I always say, stay safe, keep smiling. It's the weekend, guys. Please be safe. Please be mindful that we are still in a pandemic. So make sure to wash your hands, wear your masks, and social distance.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starts.